I'm Jeff Gordon, and you're watching Racing America.
Well, everybody, welcome to the show that started it all. This is indeed everybody's favorite racing interactive talk show. This is the Revved Sports Show, 8.5 years going strong. Showtime, Bobby Chappie, right here, the Iceman, Rodney Rodriguez. That's the man on your left. We come to you live from the great state of Texas and reaching all over the world. Mr. Rodriguez, how are you today, sir?
Good, man. Just kind of buckling up for, we're going to, in the words of Ken Squire, well, I guess I'll add a word. We'll be having a weather event.
That's what's supposed to be for a couple of days, isn't it?
We're about to get just a little bit nasty over here with some weather stuff. So I feel for a lot of hopefully our local racetracks are going to be able to get their shows in, because I know we've got a pretty full docket of stuff in our area and up into North Texas and Louisiana, but the weatherman's never right, is he? Yeah, they're never right.
Well, they're certainly paid to be never wrong.
Isn't that a great job?
But it also depends on which, like for my track this weekend that I'm looking at, depending on which weather service I see, one is detrimental.
Oh,
in the words of Denny Hamlin, 88% chance of rain all week, and I don't think they've got a drop. The other one says 40 to 50 the rest of the week, including on Saturday. So I told our boy Monty Chamberlain, I said, let's not get down and out. Let's just stay positive and see what happens. So we'll see. Weather is always a racing promoter's worst nightmare. We'll even talk to our good buddy coming up about the chances of rain and how that affects the racing show and all that. So maybe they'll hear it from a promoter and believe how this was supposed to happen.
Man wearing all kind of hats, man. The guy wore too many hats, in my opinion, as it was before, but now he adds even a bigger one. We'll talk to Matt Preer here in just a couple of minutes. And then a little bit later in the show, we'll talk to Dodge Carlbert, just a multi-talented racer there out of the Florida area that runs a bunch of different things and wins a bunch of different things. Added a brand new trophy to his trophy case this past weekend over at Citrus County. We'll talk to him about that. If you're new to the show, we'd love to hear from you. This show is live. There is nothing taped here. So as we're going along, feel free to jump in the chats if you're checking in on YouTube or Facebook pages or Racing America, X, wherever you're catching this, jump in there. If you've got questions about what we're talking about, you have comments, whatever, we'd love to address them if we get a chance. Again, we are totally live. We talk short track racing. We do talk national, probably even Formula One may come up at the end of the program, for crying out loud.
Coming up. It's on my notes. The powers that be, oh dear Lord, what the hell were they thinking with that schedule?
We'll get to that here at some point. But the man that we were just talking about, a guy that when I put in my social media post, I said that in my travels that I've been fortunate to meet a lot of good people. And this was a guy that I met one time, but I took a lot of mental notes from things that I heard him talk about and things that I saw him do, and just watching what he does. And now he adds another, oh my goodness, and does it get any bigger than director of race operations at Birch Run Speedway there in Michigan. We welcome back our man Matt Preer. Matt, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, fellas?
Oh man, first question that we talk to people that are in race operations: why?
I've asked that question myself more than once here in the last 48 hours. If you would have asked me a month ago, this wasn't even a thought in my head about this opportunity. And fast forward to yesterday morning, and here we are. I guess it's the next step in the evolution of the career, I suppose.
No doubt.
Well, Matt, we obviously know that from your background, you're diverse in a lot of different atmospheres of the racing world. And adding to this new layer of the onion, I think, is right up your alley with your various aspects of all the things that you get to do. What was the one turning point? You said it wasn't on your bingo card a month ago. A lot can happen in the span of 30 days. So what was the one thing that you're like, you know what? I think this is what I have. Was it more, this is what I have to do, or is this what I want to do? Because obviously we've seen people step up to save racetracks and different stuff before. What was it in your case?
It's a little mixture of both, Bobby. Birch Run Speedway is my home track. It's where I started my career. I can even date back to even before I started broadcasting. I was 7, 8, 9 years old. selling popcorn and programs and hot dogs and walking up and down the old concrete grandstands. And I called my first race there. My first race I've ever announced was at what it was then Dixie Motor Speedway in 1989, and that propelled my broadcasting career. And the old girl has kind of fallen on hard times lately, and it was more of a want. I think I would go 50-50. It was a need as well as a want. The racetrack has a special place in my heart. The people there are wonderful, and again, the old cliche, there's no place like home. And I felt I could, the next step in the evolution, if you will, of my career. And I think we can bring her back to its old former glory.
And Matt, isn't it one of those things to where when you have something that's so close to you like that, and I thought about that when I heard you talk about that yesterday on your announcement on your video, which was great, by the way. It's like I thought about that, and I'm like, man, the tracks I started out are gone. I'll never get to do that. So that part sucks. But when you have something like that, isn't it a lot of times to where, like you've done this for a while, but you've evolved with the sport, and you can bring different things where I think a lot of times some of these tracks, what it needs, a lot of people say a breath of fresh air. A lot of what they need is maybe a little bit of evolution, because the sport, marketing, everything is just so different right now than when we all jumped into this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything has changed so much from, again, from 1989, through the 90s, zeros, the tens, and now here we are in the middle of the 2020s, and everything has changed. Everything we learned when we first grew up in the sport, we first started getting our start, getting our foot in the door. Everything we've learned has changed. And some tracks have been able to keep up with the times. Others have.
Ooh.
Oh, did you freeze up?
Yep, I think so. Well, let's take a look there. We'll pull him down for just a second, and then we'll get him back up right when we pull the logo up. So let's see. I'll kind of keep him there in the back right there and see if he's able to move around a little bit. So Matt, if you can hear us, maybe just kind of jump out and jump back in. But with like what Matt is talking about right there, I mean, think about that, because you and I back in the late 80s, early 90s, just with the tracks here where we are, I mean, it's totally different. I mean, everything is just so different than it is now. I mean, we can call it modernization. I mean, it's evolution. It's a lot of it, but it is totally different than what we used to do.
Well, there's just a lot more stuff to do. We've seen it evolve around the racetracks. Our friends up at what was at that point one of the only dirt tracks in Central Texas was indeed in Central Texas. They're outside of Fort Hood and Killeen. Stars and Stripes, later Texas Thunder Speedway. It's now a Walmart. But as that Killeen area got bigger out on that loop where the racetrack was out in the middle of nowhere, for some reason, unbeknownst to us, we've had this discussion with many race promoters. We love what they did in Iowa to solve this problem. Decided to build a neighborhood next to a racetrack. The neighborhood bitched about the noise.
Yeah.
And that is now why it's a Walmart, because Walmart, the owners of the land thought that the land was made. When they back the Brinks truck up to you and say, we want to pay you X amount of money for this particular spot of land, they could care less that it's a racetrack. They just know that land became valuable because it was right in the middle of a bunch of subdivisions in a developing, booming residential area. Yeah. So it was not conducive, there you go, ding, 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 to being a racing facility anymore. And that kind of sort of is what happened to our main Central Texas hub, the asphalt track there at Central Texas Speedway, Thunder Hill Raceway, is that the housing developments were getting closer and the noise was getting louder and the taxes were getting bigger. And we all know that the city and county entities pay more attention to the taxes than they do the results on a results sheet from a racetrack.
Yeah. And this is really another example. And again, we're working Matt Tift. Now we almost had a double header of, you want to talk about great stories, but Matt Tift had another obligation tonight that popped up on him because he's doing a very similar situation, at the track that he's at right now, or now, going to be, spearheading what's going on at that facility. But it's like, it takes folks like this and like it, and you don't, because I see a lot of times when we lose tracks, because that happens more often than not, is that there's not somebody like Matt Prier that's gonna put his skin on the line and try to do this. But it's like, well, we need people to get involved, but it's usually not. I mean, the two people we're talking about here, Matt Prier, Matt Tiff, they're racing people. They're the ones that are going to do that. So it's that's where it gets hard. It gets really, really hard. For tracks to be able to survive. And I'm really excited that what Matt's doing here, because I think this is personal for him. You can tell this is personal for him.
Yeah, when it's your home track and your hometown, there's something special there. Obviously, like you said, we can't go back to our roots. We can't go back to the Longhorn Speedway there outside of Speedorama, there outside of what is now the Austin Airport. We can't go back to the Central Texas Speedways where we both started announcing 25 years ago, because of the fact that it's now a depot and a parking lot and a warehouse development that's got Tesla parts coming out of it, for goodness gracious. So for somebody to be able to go back is a really cool note. And Matt's a great guy. And, like I said, it's that combination between need and want. It's like we've always said, every time we try to step away from this sport, somehow, some way, we come in knee deeper than we were before.
Yeah.
It always happens that way. And Lord knows we've both been in that scenario. Matt's being in that scenario now and been in it before with all the announcing and different opportunities he has with snowmobiling and PRN and stuff like that. So that's been a lot of fun. And also, to follow up on the Matt Tiff thing, if you are a fan of YouTube, he's got some YouTube videos where he is describing all the aspects of buying Mansfield Motor Speedway. And newsflash, it's not going to be an asphalt track anymore, probably because the surface itself is not there worth saving like it was at Wilkesboro. So they're going to turn it into a dirt track. So that is breaking news on that front. But if you're really interested in the Matt Tiff story and the Mansfield Speedway story, you can check it out on YouTube. Obviously, we will ask him some of the same questions from the interview or from the YouTube video. So, but yeah, that's cool. Matt Tiff coming up here in a couple of weeks here on the Revved Up Sports Show.
Yeah, and Matt Prier is actually working to reconnect, so hopefully we'll be able to get him back in and get some more of that conversation happening. But that's like we said, it's more often than not that we don't see that happening. And again, the track has been, I think, where this is a different situation, where I think it's much more. This is going to be this is hard no matter what. When you have a track that's kind of fallen into a state where it gets a little tougher. I think where Matt's in a much better place is that the fact that it's one thing. San Antonio, for example, like when it was gone. I mean, gone. There was nothing, and then you're trying to revitalize, and it's kind of gone off of people's radar. That's not the case there at Birch Run, and here's Matt diving back in now. Thank you, Matt. Well done there, my friend. Hopefully, it wasn't something on our end. It may have been, but anyway. So, I think we're both. You got sound, Bobby?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I don't have Matt.
Yeah. It looks like he's frozen again. So it looks like it may be something there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, I've got you, but I don't have him. But I think it's one of those situations where luckily it wasn't closed, because when it's closed, coming back, I think that's where you get a lot of different scenarios where you do have to do something totally different. And I think that's going to be an effort to try to bring it back to where it was, is one of the things that he said.
Yeah, that's one of the things he said. But I think the opportunity there is it's a catch-22. And I think we can ask him about that when we get the connection back up, is if it's closed, which is the harder job, reopening a place or not necessarily, I don't want to say rebrand, because Birch Run's got a good brand behind it, but you've got to, I wouldn't say rebrand it, but you've got to restart it to a certain extent, or make it a little bit better, jumpstart it to get it going. So I think that becomes a challenge. We've seen that before with different racetracks. Obviously, you got the millions of dollars there in North Carolina with Rockingham and obviously Wilkesboro, but it becomes the challenge, there for a while. Rockingham was dead. I mean, obviously not as dead as Wilkesboro was and come back from complete graveyard status, but they worked hard to get a lot of things done there at Rockingham to keep it somewhat on the radar.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the powers that be at NASCAR decided, hey, Easter weekend when the Cup Series is off, let's run a doubleheader with the trucks and the Xfinity cars. So
yeah.
And it worked because that place was cheek to cheek, man. There was not a spare seat to be had. Like, you were cheek to cheek, loaded up in that place, squeezing together for a couple of hours on Friday and Saturday. So
yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely something that we're looking forward to seeing right there. And again, that's another one of the tracks there where I think one of the, and hopefully if we can get it back on here, I think that the really cool part of that is that it's a part of the NASCAR Weekly Series or the regional series. So I think that's something else to where with what will help this with this movement, especially with Matt being a recognized name in the industry, where it's like they're going to see this and it's going to get a lot of push. I mean, I'm not sitting here telling you NASCAR is going to throw a lot of money at him and do all of these different things, but you're going to see this in NASCAR publications and on NASCAR multimedia and different things to where it's like, okay, a homegrown home guy is coming back, and I think that's something that's going to benefit the entire cause just amazing. So hopefully that's something that's going to work out for him. Let's try him again as he has jumped back on and man, did it again. It's dropped off again. So I don't know, something there. Is it cold over there in Michigan already? Or ever or still?
I know it seemed nice. I don't know how far away Birch Run is from Brooklyn, where the Speedway was, where they raced this past weekend, but it seemed nice weather-wise. They got a little cloudy on Sunday, but
yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So anyway, we'll keep trying to get all of that together so we can get him back on here. But they are actually racing. They've got a Father's Day event coming up on Friday night. It'll be a Friday night race, limited late models, street stocks, pure stocks, American race trucks. That's one of the things that I'm curious to know about where it comes to, because it's like with the factory stock thing that we talk about on the dirt side here in our part of the country, is to what's an American race truck versus what we have here and what we see some of the other Florida tracks. I mean, because Florida, I think there's about 3 different types of Florida race truck that you're going to find out there.
Yeah, back in the day, I mean, when Arts was running it, the old American race truck series, they were the same all across the country. And then as the 305s and automatic transmissions decided to kind of die out, and one of those things, racers being racers, they wanted the 350s. They wanted to have the standard transmissions, wanted to have all the fancy rear ends. They priced themselves into another tax bracket and decided to come through and get a more sophisticated truck. So
yeah,
that we'll see how that shakes out with Matt and some other stuff.
Looks like Matt has had a power outage is what's going on. He said power is down. It came back, and I think it's still trying to restore itself. So
he looks like he's trying from his cell phone now. So yeah,
it sounds like that's the issue right there. Again, feel free to drop your comments. There is one right there in a good spot because of his ties with the Reveal the Hammer series. That's one of the many things that he does, and revitalize it quickly. And I totally think that's a big part of that. I mean, I when I met Matt, we were doing a UARA, what is now UARA Super Late Model race in Mobile. So he's one of those guys where I think that race promoters and race series operators, and again, it sounds very much like what he's wanting to do right now, which I think is a great idea, because a lot of times what happens when you see a change at a track, it's like, okay, let's try to pool as much money together as we can and go get the ASA Stars Tour or something like that. And sounds like what's happening here is let's fix our bread and butter right here. Let's build back our regular program. And then as that stuff happens, then we let that kind of happen. I kind of like that mindset a hell of a lot better.
Well, I think it works, though. I mean, I think that it's one of those things where you have to have the bread and butter itself has to actually be exactly that, the bread and butter. These traveling series and stuff cost a lot of money, especially the big time national tours. It can make and break a racetrack.
Yep.
We've seen it before with different races happening at different racetracks. It can make or break a racing facility. Is it cool that they're there? Yeah, when High Limits and World Outlaws come to town, That's a cool show, but if you knew how much money it really costs to get those series in there,
Yeah.
much less a big national series like UARA up in that facility that far from the coveted Southeast market where some of the heavy hitters are, it costs a boatload of cash. We don't want to reveal it. We know pretty close what it costs to do that, but it's not our place to tell you how much it costs to get one of them races. Just take our word for it. It takes a Brinks truck to get one of them big races there.
And if something goes wrong, you're not necessarily guaranteed that you're going to get some of that back. So, man, what are y'all having a power grid problem like we do in Texas?
Well, I am about 30 minutes north of Detroit, and just one of these quick storms just went through, and I could hear it when I was talking to you guys, and then the power went out, so it knocked out the internet here, and I had a heck of a time getting back on. I apologize, guys.
Oh, dude, that's fine, man. That's why, a lot of times people are like, man, why do y'all go live? I mean, shit's gonna go wrong, and we're like, that's why we go live.
Yeah, that's why. If anybody doesn't think it was live and think it's taped, now obviously the replays on the podcast, stuff on iHeart and some of that's the tape part, but the video and the live feed, it's live and in color, all the warts and whistles and everything. So, but hey, you know what, Matt? We appreciate you making the effort to come back. I mean, there's a lot of guys who've just been like, I'm done. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the internet. We're done. But thanks for coming back. So what we were talking about right when you were leaving is the ability of, well, when I say leaving, that sounds bad. When you had the tech issues, right?
You skipped out on us.
Yeah, right. What we were talking about, the ability, the difference between having a track that's closed and having to reopen it versus having the breadcrumbs there to get the track back to the way that you remember it back in the day. Yes, you got to modernize it. We talked about that already. But is it a different set of challenges from if the racetrack had been closed versus just taking over the running operations of it?
I think it's actually harder if the track is falling on hard times while still remaining open, because I mean I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the track under previous circumstances or whatever, but the track was on hard times. And it's a lot easier to close the track and then reopen it, because then you got that rah-rah feeling, oh, my track is back, and we're going to come out and see it. Where it's a little bit harder in this case because the track is, and again, not trying to be disrespectful, the track's falling on hard times. And I feel I need more. And now that I'm thinking about it in the midst of all the power outages and all that, I feel I can answer that question better now. It's more of a need than a want to try to bring my home track back. I mean, that's the place I grew up. I have so many childhood memories there. I've called so many races there.
Yeah. And
it's more of a need now than anything else to bring Birch Run Speedway back to what it used to be in its glory days.
And, Matt, that's kind of one thing that as Bobby and I were kind of bantering back and forth there, to me, I mean, I can feel it through this conversation. This is very personal for you. I mean, with everything that you've done and all of the different stuff that, I mean, your resume is just amazing and what you continue to do, but this is something you're taking on, and this is in your heart. I can feel it right now.
It really is, Rodney. You're 100% correct. I mean, I've had over my career, I've had the privilege of going to so many different racetracks, seeing and calling a whole bunch of races, at so many from the highest level, the very highest level in the NASCAR Cup Series, but my heart is, and you're right, Ronnie, my heart, it's home. And the old saying, there's no place like home. Well, that's Birch Run Speedway and Event Center to me. That place it has my heart. I love her to death, and it has broken my heart the last couple of years to watch things as they've become. I feel it's more my duty and my responsibility to bring it back now, and for the fans watching and listening, I'm hoping there's a few up here in the great state of Michigan that are watching and everything. I'm going to do my very best. I mean, it's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a month. It may not even happen in a year. but we're going to bring Birch Run Speedway back into what it always was, one of the premier facilities in the state of Michigan, if not the Midwestern United States.
That's great. That's awesome. That makes me want to run through a wall for you right now.
Yeah.
There, Matt. So let's talk about the NASCAR connection. Obviously, at one point when Houston kind of reopened and did a resurgence here, even though it was only a 7-race schedule, they were NASCAR sanctioned, paid the fee so they could have the website NASCARHouston.com. How beneficial is that going to be in your upcoming marketing and different kind of stuff to have the ability to say NASCAR? Some people say they love NASCAR. Some people say they hate it and still watch. But realistically, when you have that name, that brand recognition with the word NASCAR and you're able to use it, that can be huge, right?
It is something pretty damn glorious to have in your back pocket to say, you know, my racetrack is a NASCAR Regional Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series facility. We're one of only 3 in the state of Michigan, the other 2 being Berlin Raceway, another great facility here in the Great Lakes State, and then up north, the one dirt track, Merritt Speedway, up in Lake City, Michigan. It's absolutely wonderful. It's a great marketing tool to have, you know, for the novice fan that said maybe watches NASCAR on TV or just went to Michigan International Speedway this past weekend. You know, we can say, hey, you know, the guys you just watched at MIS on Sunday, well, they got their start right here at a NASCAR Regional Weekly Racing Series facility. We have those drivers here at Birch Run Speedway and Events Center. Come out and see us. You know, we have those future superstars that are someday you're going to watch on TV, and now's your chance to watch them live.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other part of that, Birch Run Speedway and Event Center. And that was something that kind of happened here with one of our racetracks where it became a concert venue and different things that were going on right there. Kind of speak to that, because like we were talking off air, you know, there's stuff going on there tonight that's not necessarily short track racing related. Kind of one of those things that's really important to keep the doors open, because a lot of times the racing just is not going to keep the lights on.
I mean, us 3 guys can sit here and know that a racetrack is not going to survive on being open 20 days a year. It's just not. That's just not the way it works anymore. You have to have more events, and you have to have non-racing events to bring people to your facility. You know, we have a wonderful bar that's open 7 days a week at the racetrack. You know, tonight is Jeep night at the facility. I kind of wish I was there. I'm kind of a big fan of Jeeps, but yeah. I live 90 minutes away, so I got to drive back and forth every time. But you know, we got the Jeep nights. There's concerts there. There's a Huey Lewis tribute band coming up here in a couple weeks. There's a Bob Seger tribute band that's going to be there in a couple weeks, which I'm going to see because Bob Seger is my #1 all-time favorite musician in the world. You know, and he only grew up 30 minutes from my hometown of Flint, Michigan. Right. So. But you have to keep the doors open at your facility. Racing, the idea is to have your oval track racing be your #1 breadwinner, your #1 moneymaker. But that's just not reality anymore. You have to keep your facility open as much as you can. I mean, take MIS for example. You know, they only race 3 days a year, and that was just past weekend. They have, you know, driving schools, they have concerts. MIS, despite the weather up here, they're open probably 250 days a year. But I mean, all that to say, you have to keep your doors open. You have to keep revenue flowing in to be able to run oval track events like we do.
Yeah, Matt. Sorry, Bobby. I got to tell him this. I'll forget. Matt, I had a track operator tell me one time where it was multi-purpose facility, and he's like, "Man, I do really well on every night except oval racing night," and it was an oval racetrack. So, anyway.
And that part is one of the things on my list I'm hoping to change. You know, and maybe oval track racing won't be the biggest money maker, but it's going to be awfully damn close when I'm done.
It works. So Matt, your video, as Rodney said, was great. Those that hadn't got a chance to see it, you mentioned it in the video, and a ton of comments were talking about all the other obligations that you have now, in addition to the Birch Run stuff, the announcing, the snowmobiles, all that good stuff. So talk about some of the announcing stuff, and more specifically, for those that don't know, obviously with some of the streaming partners, we got a chance to watch some of the racing that you announced at Midwest Modifieds, Reveal the Hammer, stuff like that. how cool is that to still be involved with those series, to get them going and maybe get them back to Birch Run and have a good time with them?
Well, I've been involved. I've been in this sport for 36 years, and never once in my entire career have I not fulfilled an obligation. And that was one of the stipulations I had when I was approached with this opportunity at Birch Run. Is I have obligations with Reveal the Hammer Outlaw Super Late Model Series. I have obligations with the Midwest Modifieds Tour powered by Wheeler Trucking. I have obligations with the International 500 Snowmobile Race. And yeah, that race is in February. But during the spring and summer months, we have what is called the CY 500 Pure Michigan Summer Tour. Well, and what that entails is we travel to short tracks all over the state of Michigan. I say that as our first event was at MIS this past weekend. But we go to as many short tracks as we can, and we promote the most grueling and prestigious snowmobile race in the world, the International 500 Snowmobile Race, the 57th running coming up February 1st to the 7th, 2026. But that was one of my stipulations. I need to fulfill my obligations. I've already promised to, Rich Mercer, Donnie Kloss, Jeff Ochaska at the Reveal the Hammer series, Brian Nestor, Bud Gray with the Midwest Modified Tour, and of course, Rick Federow, the entire board of directors of the I-500. And plus, I have other special events, like the Hot Shoe 100, August 8th and 9th at Owasso Speedway.
That's a hockey puck.
Then that's a hockey puck. And never mind that my hockey season, thank you for reminding me, my hockey season starts in mid-September, and that runs through the end of March. Those are obligations already set in stone. And again, I have never backed out of an obligation in my entire career, and I'm not about to start now. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit busy here in the rest of 2025, but it's going to be a lot of fun for sure, guys.
No doubt. But birchrunracing.com, the official website right there. So lastly for me, Matt, kind of talk about it. So, I mean, here we go. I mean, it's Friday. You're going Friday. You've got a Father's Day event coming up, limited late models, street stocks, American race trucks, pretty full card right there. And I love the other thing that you said, because a lot of times when you have something that changes, the immediate thing is all people hear is change. And you said people that are working here are going to be working here. Show up for work like you have. The program. I mean, I like how you said, I'm observing, because a lot of times that word change will make racing people just really kind of fall off the rails. Kind of talk about Friday. I can tell the anticipation is just nail biting, I bet, for you.
Yeah, I've only thrown up twice today, so no, I'm kidding. No, on Friday, June 13th is my first official night at the racetrack, and as you said, as you alluded to in the video, I'm merely an observer. I want to meet the rest of the current staff. I want to meet the man. I want to meet everybody that either works at the racetrack, that races at the racetrack, or is a fan at the racetrack. My primary obligation this Friday is shaking hands and kissing babies. That is my goal. And while doing that, I'm going to be observing as well. I mean, I don't want to say it's like an audition or anything, but I want to see people in action. I want to see what they're doing. If they're doing things right, that's wonderful. If they're doing things wrong, then maybe somehow we can correct it. If something is a detriment, then yes, we're going to make a change. No question about it. I mean, again, not being disrespectful to the racetrack itself, because I love her. I love Birch Run Speedway, but there's a reason why things are not the way they should be, and I'm going to make things right. But first, I need to see people in action. I need to watch a show. I need to take in a show. I need to listen to the people, and listen to the fans, listen to the drivers. What can we do to make your experience with us that much better?
Absolutely.
That's great. Well, I look forward to hearing you with the touring series, because I love the Midwest Modified Series. We have a great modified count sometimes here in Texas, but I love the Midwest Modifieds.
Oh yeah.
And I love and for us, the Reveal the Hammer Super Late models are so different for us because they got the wedge style bodies.
Oh yeah.
That they put on a well of a show, and you do a great job announcing that and pulling that energy out to us watching it, all the way down here in Texas when you do that. So I look forward to great things from the series as always, and we'll keep track of the racetrack, man. We love it when one of our buddies takes on a challenge, and we can help out any way we can, man. Just let us know how we can help you, dude.
Certainly appreciate it. And you guys have an open invitation to come on up to the beautiful state of Michigan. It's so beautiful up here as we're getting close to the summer months. You guys ever want to come up to Birch Run Speedway, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it. Best of luck. Congratulations. I know I was giving you some shit right there at the beginning, but I mean that because you're a badass, buddy. And this is going to be a really, really cool thing. So congratulations. Stay in touch. Let us know how we can help. Like Bobby said, we'll talk to you soon, Matt.
Will do. I do want to mention one more quick thing. Obviously you guys know my role. My primary thing has always been broadcasting, announcing. I just want to point out that I have two very good announcers at Birch Run Speedway. Michigan Motorsports Hall of Famer Ed Inlows and Chuck Darling. They are the voices of Birch Run Speedway. And another one of the stipulations I had when taking this job is I cannot be in the booth. In order to do this job right and to do the job effectively, I had to not be in the booth, which is a very hard thing for me because I love to talk. So, yeah. But I wanted to point that out, that Ed Inlows and Chuck Darling are the voices of Birch Run Speedway, and they're going to do a great job.
I figured you were going to say that because you knew that I'd be hitting you up and be like, "Hey, Bobby and I can do that." You know, if you need it.
The hell of a road trip. We could be dedicated. We come all the way up there.
I heard you guys come up.
Great Lakes are beautiful
here too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good stuff, Matt. Congratulations, dude. I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon, man. Be well.
Take care, guys.
You bet. There he goes, Matt Preer. Man, that is one heck of a move right there, and that it really is, man. When it gets personal like that, that's when you can tell that fire is really there. And I have no doubt whatsoever that that old girl's in great hands right there with Matt.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, his ability to pull the energy out when he's calling a race, I think will be the same way of him being able to reach in with his hands and feet on the ground over there. Like you said, he's observing the first night just to kind of, shake the hands and kiss the babies and get to know everybody. He's going to get the people that are going to tell him good things, and he's going to get the people that's going to tell him everything that's wrong with that place, whether it's wrong or not. But that's the good and the bad of being the new head man in charge over there. So that's it's a challenge, but obviously, Matt, if he wasn't going to be up for the challenge, he wouldn't have said yes.
Well, and that's the whole thing, because I remember, like with Mobile, and Mobile's doing great, by the way. Congratulations to Eddie Shoemaker and that group with what they're doing over there. But I remember when we come over, and again, I say we, it was like this thing, but that place had been closed, and it's like, well, here's how we did it for 30 years. And it's like, you've been closed. Something wasn't working at the end of that. So sometimes you just have to make those changes. And I think it's going to be really cool right there. Very, very personal right there for Matt. Let's go diving in once again. Now we go to Florida. Hey, look at that right there. And I thought that the timing was perfect because now we have the return of the Ram, and we got Dodge. we got Dodge on the program tonight. This is a very talented young man that joins us tonight. Let's welcome in from Bradenton, Florida. It is Dodge Colbert. Dodge, how we doing tonight, my man?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well, brother. Doing well. Thank you for diving in here. Let's talk about the weekend. We can talk about everything. Very, very young, talented race car driver, but this past weekend, sprint cars on pavement, my man. To notch that one to your resume, take us through it, man, because I know that heat race threw you a curveball as soon as y'all started.
Yeah, it was a very eventful weekend to start, like you said. The heat race was just we thought it was going to be smooth. Start fourth, finish inside the top three to get the pill draw, and got in an accident with John Inman, and I think we bent and broke damn near everything on that race car and had to replace it before the feature. I mean, it just barely got fixed. So it broke, let's see, the left front brake line. So I rode 4 laps with 0 brakes. Sketchiest thing I've ever done in a sprint car. Leading too. So, I ain't pulling off. I'm not pulling off. There was a caution I would have had to, but I figured I was out front. So broke the rear end mount. So the rear end was just slapping the shock on the right rear every lap. And yeah, it was just crazy. So shout out to the team for getting it fixed because it was insane. But to then go out in the feature and win for my first ever sprint car race, or first ever sprint car win in my 8th ever race with a sprint car is just, it's insane,
Excellent.
So they're trying this sprint car thing on asphalt coming up the July 4th weekend in Houston. and we're looking forward to seeing that. My question is, though, on the sprint car side, on pavement, do you have to replace the seat after every run by going in that corner and pinching that seat? Because that seems like that's a hell of a lot of downforce to just roll in them corners and just rock and roll around. I think. Talk about just the sheer magnitude and what it takes to manhandle one of them big beasts on a pavement track.
It was a shell shock. So my first time sitting in one, I actually got to do wingless. I did 100 laps wingless first, so it was kind of like the opposite of what I expected. You know, like just no downforce, really slow almost. It felt like because no downforce, and then we put the wing on that Saturday night. The very next day, never tested, never nothing. Threw myself into a 40-lap race, and it was like, holy crap. I mean, you really have to trust that wing and trust the air is going to do what it does. And it's just insane. The feeling going from a 602 and a built motor modified to that is just, it hurt for the first few days after that first race for sure. It definitely hurt. I'll tell you that.
Man, I can only imagine that. And we've got it pulled up right there. That's the victory lane photo right there. I believe it was from Citrus County. And so talk about, I guess you like it. You're going to do it again this weekend, right?
Yeah. We're leading the points
Double,
now, which,
double,
you know,
double.
It sucks because I am going to miss one race for that series because I've already committed to the Bun Racing team with the Sportsman deal where we're going for back-to-back championships. And but yeah, no, we're leading the points. We're going to see what we can do. You know, Colton Bettis, one of the best in the country right now. He's ranked the best in the country right now. And he's a really close friend of mine too, which is good. He'll be there. And obviously you got Bald Man Joe will be there. And I bully him all week on Facebook every day. Every time I see him pop up, I just call him bald. But yeah, no, just everybody, you know, it's such a tight competition in that class. And I really like that class because we have a really old car. We have shocks that we don't know what the dyno sheets are. We just been adjusting the car to feel for me. And you can make up for it in the seat. It's not like the Sportsman class where, you know, it really matters. The setup really, really matters in those cars because everybody's just so close. Or sprint cars, you can kind of, you know, throw them on your shoulder and let it ride and make a difference, you know? Yeah.
So Dodge, let's talk about the Sportsman for a minute while you bring it up. The popularity of that class has been amazing. To see where it went, to see where it's going and growing and has the national appeal that it does. What in your mind, obviously racing's expensive and those cars aren't cheap anymore. I guess comparatively, you know, to a full-fledged, you know, Southeastern Outlaw anyway. But talk about what's made that class sustain the growth and popularity that it has. I mean, in your mind, is it as big as it once was? Is it about the same? Is it bigger? Tell us about that.
It's definitely bigger. I think Ricky Brooks took it over, and he does a great job. He keeps us all in check. They're very close cars. You know, not much different from the Outlaw. A little bit stocker than the Outlaw, and it's, you know, just a matter of setup. That's why, you know, Boyd Tech, best in the business on that one. He helps us out a lot and gets that car rolling. But those cars, man, they're just so close. I think we had one night where I think it was 16 cars or something within a tenth and a half of each other, you know, and that's just nothing, you know. But no, I think that class is just getting more and more popular as it goes. I mean, we had 26 plus at Freedom Factory, and tracks like Freedom Factory help that class too. You know, everybody wants to run that track, and that's one of the premier classes that run at that track now. You know, you got trucks, sportsmen, and supers, and obviously you got the support divisions. But the three premier classes for Freedom Factory now are just those three. So that helps it too. But like I said, I think Ricky Brooks really helped that class out. You know, it was starting to kind of die down there towards the end of Wheelman, and then when he took it over and transformed it to SRL and then UARA, it kicked off really well. I think that first race with him was Mobile, maybe. Yeah. And I think Mobile, you know, even for a far travel, we had, you know, 20 plus cars, and just from there, it was really good.
And Dodge, isn't that the thing? Because like with the Outlaws, like here in Texas, I mean, for the one asphalt track we have Outlaws, and if we get 10, that's a really good show. Mobile is kind of hitting every cylinder right now with everything, including Outlaws, and Pensacola is a little down. But the thing is, with the actual Outlaw, in my opinion, what was going on there is just money. And again, like Bobby said, there's a lot of money involved right here, but it was really developing itself into a damn near pro late model. I think where Ricky went in there, that's the one thing that he really went in there and did, to where he pulled this thing back just a little bit and made it to where what it was designed to be, an affordable late model type of class.
Yeah, and it is. What I like about this class versus like a pro late model, obviously 602 to 604, a little slower, but we're wedge bodies and you have pretty much free reign on the bodies. Obviously you have like the deck height rule and some smaller rules, but compared to like these late models and stuff, you don't have too much that you can't do with the body. I mean, it's really, if you go look at these cars up close, you'll notice a lot of them look really different. Boyd did ours, and he did a killer job doing his own design. And then you got like Travis over at, Travis Rowland over with Rowland Motorsports. He does bodies different than us. And I just like the fact that you can do everything a little bit different and still be really affordable in that class. Everything's pretty affordable for most. And it pays really good for how cheap the class really is. I mean, $2,500 to win every race and $500 to start is amazing, So
yeah. Yep.
Dodge, talk about the camaraderie with that series. We've talked to various racers over the years that have run that series, and it seems like you said Ricky's got a good handle on it. But talk about the competition side. We've always mentioned that you have to, and everybody wants to go to win, right? That's where racers, we're competitors. We love that aspect. But if you got 25 guys there, or ladies in some cases, you got 25 racers there, one of them's going to win. So talk about the camaraderie with the rest of the pits. I mean, is it the same as every other series, or is it so competitive that you guys are cutting each other with knives? Or talk about that aspect.
Yeah, I'll be nice today. They're great. A lot of them are great. It definitely was a lot nicer when I wasn't winning. We'll put it that way.
Oh yeah.
But that's how it goes. Got a lot of good people in that class, though, and a lot of good racers. Daniel Webster, great racer. Brandon Morris, great racer, and champions of the series and winners in that series. And just overall, a lot of good racers in that series. I do think this last year, it's got a little out of hand with wrecking and just dumb stuff going on. But I think Ricky, putting us all on probation pretty much. I think he threw half the field on probation after Arvindale. I think that helped out. We went to Freedom Factory. I felt like that was a pretty clean ordeal. So competition's great, and love them all.
That's where I read his reports and I'm like, shit, who's not on probation? Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I know. I got thrown on probation. I couldn't figure out why, but I respect it no matter what. It's how, I get it. At the end of the day, if I wouldn't have got put on probation, more people would have whined, and then it just would have been
of course.
Just more of a headache for him. So we respect Ricky way too much. Whatever he decides goes. I mean, we got disqualified for a 16th of an inch my first year in that class, and we just smiled, and we were happy to finish third, whether we got disqualified or not. So,
no,
it's great. They're a great group. They do everything really well, and I'm excited to see what else he could do. I know we're going to go back to South Alabama, I think, this year again, and I love that track. The track's awesome.
Track's badass, right?
That track is so good.
So talk about that. I mean, the Baby Rattler. I mean, you win the Baby Rattler. Hell, you had to hold a snake, didn't you?
Yeah, that was the snake. Yeah, that thing. No, I'm good. Yeah, I was sitting there, and the guy threw it around my shoulder, and he was like, "Smile." I was like, "I am smiling as big as I fucking can." Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm smiling as good as I can, man. You need to leave me alone and just take this damn picture." That's the best. That's the best you're getting, man.
I broadcast that race a few years back, and they were like, "We want a picture of you with the snake." I'm like, "You go find me a fucking rubber one,
yes,
and I'll take a picture with the snake." But
no, it was cool though. They, sucks that show got moved to Sunday because I had a tea time booked.
My man.
It's all good. No, in all seriousness, it was cool to race on Sunday how it used to be ran rather than Saturday, and they had our cars on the front stretch, and they had the rattlesnake on the victory lane, just a few of them just sitting there rattling. And I mean, that was when they put it next to my head and it started rattling while they're hanging it next to me. I was like, I'm good. But no, super cool. I've always wanted one of those trophies. And my first time there was 3 years ago. I went with Michael Goddard to help him. That's like my best friend, really close with him. And ever since seeing that trophy, I when they announced we were going to go there, I was like, man, I want one of those so bad. So it was cool to get one. And yeah, it's sitting right over there. I don't let that thing leave my sight. I'm scared that rattlesnake head's going to like come to life or something. I don't know.
I heard that.
We have those in backyards here. I've killed a 6-footer in my backyard trying to eat my dog one night. So
I'm good. I run when it's a black racer. I'm good.
Dude,
I don't want nothing to do with stakes.
You and me both. It's like, no, it's not happening. So let's talk about the rest of the family. I mean, and you have won in everything. I saw that list on social media where it's like, I'm trying to find something that you haven't won in. And after you check off the sprint car, it has been, and like I said, you're a very young dude. How long have you been doing this, Dodge? I mean, shit. You've won in everything.
I was supposed to start, I was kind of all over the place when I was younger, travel baseball and football. And I was supposed to start karting at 6, but I had an ear problem in my right ear, and the motor sits right at your right ear. And I could not get in that go-kart. It hurt my head and hurt my ear. Well, as I got older, I outgrew that issue. And I didn't start until I was 8, I think. And then by 10, I was in a full-size car doing the Kids Fast 4. And then from there, it was kind of just whatever my dad could afford at the time, which was mostly just pure stock racing. And we got lucky enough to get sponsored a Pro Truck deal through him, and then I took that over. And honestly, just kind of dumb luck with a lot of the way I got into some of these rides. Like one night I got offered a ride in a street stock that I thought was owned by Yoho, and it turned out it was owned by my now car owner, Bun Racing. I had no idea who owned that car. I just hopped in it one night. So
yeah.
No, I love it though. I drive everything and anything now, doing more dirt stuff this year. And yeah, that's my next goal is to go win some dirt races. I've got one under my belt, but it's just a C main at Tulsa, which to me is still, really cool. I'll take it. A C main, any main at Tulsa is cool. So
I heard that, man.
Don, just about the racing in Florida for a minute. I think that outside of Pensacola, I don't think it gets, and then Speed Weeks with the World Series, I don't necessarily think that the Florida racing as a whole gets as much attention as it should on a national scale. Meaning that, you've got some really great racers from down there, and you've got some really cool racetracks with a lot of history and a lot of stories to tell, in addition to the Cletus International Speedway up there at the Freedom Factory. So talk about the racing as a whole in Florida. Now, is there a difference the further you get to the Panhandle versus the more southern you get, or is it all about the same? Do you notice a different aggression level depending on where you go around the state, or is it all about the same over there?
Down by, we count Pensacola as Alabama down here. That's not a Florida track. That's an Alabama track. It's so
they drive like it.
Yeah, it is all Alabama people at the end of the day. But no, I mean, it's not too much different. We got a lot of the guys down here are rougher, in my opinion. You go to Arbondale Speedway and you'll see it every weekend. You go this weekend, I'm sure you'll see it. It's just rough with these guys down here. And I've always felt the guys up north that I've gotten to race against raced me with more respect than the guys down here, and I got to race them with more respect. And yeah, I think I really enjoy going out of state. Like, I'm excited to travel more because I just feel like racing as a whole is better outside of Florida, and I hope it gets better in Florida. But we're running out of racetracks. We're running out of promoters that want to work with each other. We're running out of tracks that want to work with each other, and it's becoming a bidding war. I mean, look at this past weekend. They could have had 18 sprint cars at one track, but instead Yoho wanted to be Yoho and put it on top of another track, and I'm not one to get political on it, but it sucks for us, Granted, we got lucky and had 10 cars still, and we had 2 of the best sprint car drivers in the nation, must-see champion Joe Ligori and Colton Bettis. So we obviously had the show no matter what at, Citrus, but still sucks to not have the car count because people just want to argue and fight all the time down here. And that's just how it's going to be until they get on the same page or sell the tracks to somebody else.
Well, they can learn from Texas, because we were once thriving in pavement. Now we have one that runs once a month, which, sucks. But lastly, from me, Dodge. So not just you. This is a family thing. I saw some legends loaded up. So kind of talk about it. Family affair right here, as it usually is when it comes to short track racing across the country.
Yeah, no, Bryson. I'm shocked you haven't heard of him yet. He's iRacing, I think, or he's doing something in the room next door to me. Yeah, he's they're going, I think, tomorrow and Thursday. They're going to be in Atlanta for 2 days of Atlanta racing with the Legend car, and then they'll come back to help me on Saturday. But yeah, he's all over the place. I mean, they travel more than I travel when it comes to that thing. It's just more opportunity to travel with the Legend car too. I mean, you can go run anywhere in the country. They're all the same. They're all under the same INX rules. And yeah, he got wins up in Nashville and at 2 separate tracks. And yeah, he's a badass little kid. I mean, he's definitely got it figured out. I could get him real quick. I mean, he ain't scared to hop on a camera. He's literally 20 feet from me if you want me to. I can grab him if you give me 2 minutes.
We get a preview from him if you want.
Yeah,
This drive, man. That's what we were just talking about. See, there you go right there. Hey,
Live TV.
I like that seat right there.
That's a fancy little seat.
See, his microphone's still on. He's gonna be like, "Hey, come over here and talk to these two dipshits." That's what we're gonna hear. That's what we're gonna hear. But the thing about it is, and that's with the sprint cars, man, on pavement, it's like, holy smoke. Have you seen those tires? My God, man, it is nothing but grip. Nothing but grip in those things. Nothing but grip and horsepower. It's like everything that you've always wanted as a race car driver is grip and horsepower. And I'm not sure that I want that with that much horsepower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bryson, how you doing, buddy? Good, man. So what are you doing over there? You iRacing?
Yeah, doing RUSS too, just playing games.
All right, nice. So we won't hold you long, but so we were talking to Dodge there. I saw you're all loaded up and ready to go tomorrow. What you got? What you doing with the Legend tomorrow on that good looking red number 11?
Just heading over to Atlanta for Wednesday and Thursday. Just going to a new track and trying to learn.
Nice, love it.
So what's the goal when you get to Atlanta? Obviously, we all want to win because we're racers. But I mean, are you just going to try to get a top 5, trying to whoop their tail? What are you trying to do this upcoming couple of days?
Hopefully just trying to run good. So, try to get at least top 10, just get mid-pack first day and try to do really good the second.
Absolutely. So for you, Bryson, how long you been doing this, my man?
Not even probably a year, 6 months in the Legend.
Wow. Absolutely. How many different tracks have you hit to this point?
So Arbondale, Showtime, Nashville, Highland Rim, and then Atlanta. So about to be 5.
Nice.
As we go.
Good ones too.
So you guys could come to Houston, Texas, because we have a really good Legends program there at the Palace of Power in Houston. And your brother could try to check out the rules and try to run a sprint car on asphalt coming up July 4th weekend. So y'all could have a really good little fun. They got about 25 to 30 Legend cars that they race there in Houston. So
yeah,
if you can clear out a schedule and make about a 17-hour drive, that'd be a lot of fun for you guys.
17-hour drive, that would be probably the longest drive I've done.
Yeah,
traveling.
He's a liar. He'll be asleep.
there you go, right there. There you go, right there. He'll wake up when you hit the Waffle House. I mean, that's how that all works. That's how it all works. Bryson, thanks for jumping on with us, man. Good luck tomorrow, and we're probably going to have your own segment here pretty dadgum soon, my friend.
All right, thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care. Dodge, my man. We'll get one. Well, I tell you, that's
Thank you, Bryson.
Yep.
You already got the talking part down too, man.
He's good. I've been PR training him.
Yeah, you're doing a hell of a job. You're doing a hell of a job.
No, I do everything with that kid. Me and him always go to go-kart. When he was younger, we used to go to go-kart tracks, and go-kart racing is very drafty, very bump and runny. And to teach him how to bump and run, we would go out there together, and I would restrict my go-kart down, and I would do bump and runs on him and then wait for him to do it back. And one day he got mad when I would cross him over after every one, and he wrecked both our go-karts, tore both brand new bodies off of them. And just my dad was pissed, but yeah, that's just how it was.
Nice
No,
job,
he's
Todd.
good. You know, hey, it was his fault, not mine. He'll tell you. He'll tell you he did it on purpose. He is proud of it. He's you know, but no, he's great. He's learning very fast. He'll come in from the pits or the racetrack, and if the car's not good, he'll look at my dad and be like, "Dad, you need to fix this." Just tell my dad what's wrong with it like that, you know. So this is how he is. He's smart, and he's being really humble, saying mid-pack. He's moving up a class this week to the next class up, which is going to be racing with kids damn near twice his age. Yeah, and
great.
He's been doing that at Arvindale recently and running in the top 3. So I expect him to be in the top 5. I know Atlanta's hard, and I know it's going to be new for him, but he'll figure it out. He'll be all right.
Yeah. So it sounds like he's got this figured out. I think he's going to adapt just fine. So for you, is it going to be you chasing 2 championships? Obviously, is that the rest of the plan this year? You're going to be able to get out and about and maybe kind of get out of those series and do some other stuff, or what you got, Dodge, the rest of 2025?
Yeah, we're gonna obviously UARA comes first, so we're gonna miss 1 sprint car race, but Colton has to miss 1, and we're hoping we can build a big enough point lead over 3rd place to maintain a close enough gap to get that championship, and then obviously still hold off over Colton. He's a great driver, and those are definitely our 2 focuses. But we're gonna hit or miss some races. We're gonna go travel with the modified some. You know, that's mine and Dad's house car. It's the only car we own, and then dirt racing. I got a midget ride. We're working on a title sponsor, and we're going to go run Millbridge in November. I think it's the 2nd and 3rd. It's a Monday and Tuesday. That will be my first national race. Will be at Millbridge.
Oh, wow.
Don't know who's letting me do that. And then my second national race will be Chili Bowl. So just going in there, but I'm pretty confident in the dirt stuff. I'm about to ruffle a lot of feathers, but dirt's easier than asphalt. So, I don't care. I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. No, I love dirt though. And I think the driving on dirt is a lot more of a technique, and there's a lot more to it, when it comes to, there's just so many different lines, and you have to have more knowledge on dirt when it comes to the track itself, because it'll change in 5 laps and you'll be moving lines all the way around. I mean, I remember at Tulsa, I went out I was running 2 classes. I went out for first practice and it was wide open around the bottom. I was 15 practices later, 8 cars in each practice, and it was ripped the top wide open. The bottom was slick, and only 15 practices, so it's just quick changing. But yeah, other than that, not too much. I obviously work too when I can with some other teams and stuff with like late models. Goddard and the Hines have been nice enough to let me work for them, and racing and working, and it's about it. Honestly, I don't plan on doing too much the rest of this year unless something else pops up, which then I'm more than happy to do it.
Golf, got to golf.
I golf a lot. I golf on a healthy amount of golf. Honestly, me, Nick Neary, Steven Nassy, those guys, Michael Goddard, we all unhealthy amount. I mean, I could show you text of Nick Neary texting me once every day. Hey, when we going? Just how it is. But it's cool though, because you travel to all these racetracks. You have some downtime. It's
got downtime.
Cool to try places in other states. We went to Oklahoma and I golfed in 2-degree weather. It was awesome. It was great. I loved it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
What is Nasty like on a golf course? Is it just polar opposite of him in a race car?
He's such a good dude. He he's right next to me down here. He's in Pinellas Park, and he's a cool dude on the golf course. Usually late.
No,
he's usually late. But, if it's an early tee time, usually late. But other than that, I mean, he's a great dude, and he's a really good golfer.
Really?
Don't let him fool you. He will take your damn money. Wow. He is taking my damn money.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a really good golfer. I've gotten better though, and I haven't played with him in a while, so I expect next time I play, I'm gonna whoop his ass. I want my $100 back, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
There it is. Well, I'm gonna text you my number. I'm just kind of getting back into it, but I'm like really into it right now.
Oh,
so yeah, I'll text you my number.
Whenever I go I go a lot, especially down by me. You know, all these golf courses know who I am at this point. So
let's go golfing together at the Chili Bowl when you head up to the Chili Bowl.
That's right. Yeah, I'll
it's
be
gonna
at
be
Chili Bowl.
snowing.
Yeah, it was
It's
cold
gonna
as
be
shit
snowing.
last year. Yeah, it
Yeah.
got a little cold on us last year. So.
I've never been outdoor ice skating until I went to the Tulsa Shootout.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. Yeah, I
little
never got to do that.
Little much.
Nah,
Good stuff,
perfect.
man. Good stuff. Go win 2 championships. Tell that kid to tell him stay humble. I like that from a youngster. You know, not coming out here talking shit. So
yeah. Well, don't worry. He does plenty of that when he's not on camera.
No, that's great.
Kid tells me like once a week that he's coming for my rides. So
well, yeah, better keep looking over your shoulder.
I know. I told him he can have the Sportsman if I get a full-time must-see ride.
There it is, right there.
We gotta see what happens with that. But
there it is, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt. Appreciate it, man. Let's stay in touch. I'll send you over some contact info. I do a lot of traveling, so love to shake your hand, buy you a beer or something sometime. And
yeah, sounds good. I am old enough. I'm 24 for everybody that's curious. I know I look 16 sometimes, but
I don't care if you're 16 or not. I'll buy you a beer. I'm not one of those guys. So anyway, no, but that's good. That's very good.
Yeah. Had to get it out there so that way
There
people
it is.
didn't think I was like 15 or something. You know?
That's right. That's right. You do look very young. You do look very young.
I get it a lot. You know, if I shave, I look 10.
Yeah, I bet. That's what happens to Bobby too. So
yeah.
But well, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate
it. Catch a 20-year-old when I shave. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. All right, dude. We'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks for your time. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You bet. There he goes. Dutch Colbert. Good dude. See that? That's just good. Hashtag real race talk right there. We even got a bonus guest tonight. How about that?
I know, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, Dodge currently, I haven't seen the point standings for the UARA sportsman class, but I would assume that he is leading because he won the Baby Rattler 125 and then he won it at Freedom Factory. And I think the one race in between there, I think he was third. So I would venture to guess that he's the point leader. So, and he is, I mean, even when he talked about that Mobile race, that was kind of when everything changed, I remember watching him because we call that, and it was, he was just tremendous. And yeah, really good talent right there. Jumps in the sprint car, gets that done. And like he said, in his eighth start, pretty impressive right there in a big old fast sprint car.
Yeah, those are going to be coming to Houston, and it looks like those are going to be a lot of fun. If I am back in town for that and have a pot to piss in, I will be potentially heading to Houston. There's a lot of racing action. I'm off announcing wise that weekend, but I got a couple of options to go to our friends at Cotton Bowl, head down to Houston, or just stay at home after getting my ass handed to me when I'm in Las Vegas. So,
and I'm actually going to be in Houston. I'm actually going to be in Houston that night, but just from some work stuff. It's not. I'm like completely on the other side of town. I mean, I'm over at NRG doing some stuff. I mean, I could probably get there if I wanted to, but probably not going to be able to make that one, but I will get there at some point. Before we dive into some NASCAR talk and Formula One, how about a word from our friends one at Audio Visual Consultations, and then our friends at My Race Pass. You want to get that My Race Pass app? It's totally free 99. Free, nothing 99, and you can keep up with everything that's going on, whatever. I mean, they're racing tonight in high limits. If you're not watching that on Flow, you could just check it out on My Race Pass.
Welcome to the My Race Pass app, the #1 app for motorsports fans. We want to make sure you get the most out of your My Race Pass app experience. With your new free account, you can use the My Race Pass app to see race day information, including event entries and official lineups and results for over 600 organizations across North America. You can also see track information and purchase online event tickets for select tracks. With your free account, you can also search for a track or series on the My Race Pass app and favorite their profile to receive news and race day notifications on your mobile device. To see more information and to see which app subscription is best for you, be sure to visit getmrpapp.com. My Race Pass, the ultimate racing resource.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, Manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials. Tested tough for optimum performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
Looking to start a new career path in motorsports or searching for something new in your racing journey? Racer Jobs is your destination for providing the most current job openings from top racing teams, manufacturers, sanctioning bodies, and suppliers. Whether you're a budding race engineer, a seasoned mechanic, or a marketing ace, we consistently refresh our listings with new roles that could meet your ambitions. Looking for a great candidate as an employer? Then tap into our Racer Jobs audience and database to find that perfect candidate. Go to racerjobs.com today.
Back live on a Tuesday. It is hashtag Real Race Talk, the Revved Up Sports Show. Thanks to Matt Preer. Thanks to Dodge Colbert for joining us. Great conversations right there. That's why we call it hashtag Real Race Talk. Bobby, what'd you think of the Michigan race, buddy? I thought that was a really good race.
I thought the coverage was good. I'm still not wild. I'm not wild about a fuel mileage race, but they are what they are. They had an opportunity to be really special of a race, but the problem is that Prime is making even average races seem exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Because if that was on a different network, that they would concentrate so much on the fuel mileage aspect of it, it would take away from the overall competition. And while, yes, Prime did concentrate on the fuel mileage, it was a different type of concentration level than what we've seen from other broadcasters in the past.
It's just a totally different feel from the pre-race to the race to the post-race. It's a very relaxing, just kind of like a Sunday afternoon, just kind of hanging out watching a car race is what it feels like. And I know and again, it's something that drives me crazy all the time listening to this stuff is when that even with Junior and who is it? Junior and
Letarte.
Steve Letarte. They give that respect to Alan Alexander, to where it's like there are a lot of different times where Junior and Letarte are going back and forth, and Adam Alexander starts talking, and they shut up. It's like the dude is commanding the booth, and that's where, not commanding, but I mean that's his job to do that, and
his job is to be the orchestra of that train, and he does a great job.
He's that guy going like
not
this.
Orchestra, conductor of the train.
Yeah, he's that guy that's going like this, and it's really hard with everything that goes on in those. I've never obviously been in none of those booths, but I mean, there's just so much that's going on, and when you have people giving you different things, it really does. It's a totally different feel, and I don't want to hear. I mean, every now and then some personal stories and what you've done in the past and all that. That's great. That's fine. Whatever. Tell us that. But they are just talking about what's happening, and it's very lively. It's just really lively, and it's a very refreshing change. And I think that's the biggest part of it. I think you nailed it, dude, to where it's like, I think on Fox or NBC, I wouldn't have found that race that entertaining.
No, I mean, I think it is what it is. Of course, I was watching my other team on another channel get hammered by UCLA, but it was a decent, for Michigan standards, it was kind of an all right race. It was good, but at the end of the day, when you get the heartbreakers of the 77 car running out of gas, having to pit, and you get the 24 running out of gas after dominating a couple of stages. So, I mean, they are what they are. There's no asterisk in the rule book that says that next to the number 11 that shows the 11 car winning, it's not going to say this was a half-ass fuel mileage race. It's not going to say that. It's going to say the 11 won the race at Michigan, the Firekeepers 400. The trophy is going to say winner, Firekeepers 400 at Michigan International Speedway. So they are what they are. You just don't get an opportunity to cherish them as much from a fan perspective. And it's the same thing. Broken record. We could replay the show from 3 weeks ago. We could have the same argument we had then. Everybody that's watching it loves it. Everybody that doesn't watch it hates it because they can't watch it.
Well, and what I was taking out of that race a lot was, even though that you did have kind of stretches to where you didn't have any cautions, and again, Prime's doing a really good job of going to find the battles. I will say that. And I mean,
that's Junior, because Junior doesn't look at the monitor; he looks at the window.
Yeah, Yeah, and his, the people that are, pushing that thing and hitting those buttons and all that. It's like when you start calling whatever, I mean, they go and they find that battle. And that's, I think, one of the biggest thing that's important, because it is when the guy's leading by 2 seconds, nobody wants to see him out there running by himself. But they're doing a really good job of not only that, but they're just kind of painting a picture of everything. And I think the pit reporting is solid. And like I said, with the pre and post race, it's just really good and concise, and it's not the Mickey Mouse stupid antics and bringing in the VIP or whoever's there. Now this will be an interesting week, because now going to Mexico, I think that this will be something really interesting to see how they handle this, because there's going to be a big to-do about this. So I think it'll be a lot of what we've seen here the first couple of events right here. But I'm glad that this race is streaming, because I think if it was a Fox or an NBC race, it would be they would just do a lot of stupid shit. I think if
Michael Waltrip would do the grid walk in a giant sombrero.
Right. And he would be trying to talk Spanish and be trying to do all these different things. And he'd go stick that mic in anybody's face that looked like they were Hispanic. And, I don't, this is already going to be a lot of Daniel Suarez. And that's fine, because it should be a lot of Daniel Suarez. I know there's a couple of other dudes that are in there, with the Hispanic heritage as well. But it would be, if it was one of the networks, and again, a lot of that is, analytics and different things, it would be just Suarez just rammed down your throat. And I think what Prime is going to do, they're going to do a really good pick. They're going to tell us about all this getting through the border. They're going to tell us about all that shit.
That's a hell of a story in its own right there.
Absolutely.
The convoy from Laredo. I didn't get to see any of the race rigs on 35. They must have blew through at night through our part of the world, because I didn't see any on 35 when I was checking them out, because they were all in Laredo this morning at 6. So
yeah. And the other part about that is, and I saw where people were kind of pissed off or whatever. I mean, it's a different country. I mean, it's a different, where you can't have the alcohol, you can't have tobacco, you can't have all of these different things on there, to where they're having to go in there and literally redo everything that they're doing. I mean, I saw them, when they were unloading the trucks and loading the primary cars into, where it's like, it's not just a matter of swapping cars. There's a lot of things that can't go across the border.
They couldn't take any of the drinks and the food, and none of that all that had to be taken out.
All that had to be taken out. And it's, the immediate thing is, I mean, I know there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on over there, but just kind of like the whole thing with Chicago, to where it's like people are going to get shot. No, they're not.
The cartels aren't dumb enough to attack a NASCAR convoy. They don't want the bad publicity. It's too big of a fish over there.
No, they're way too smart. And then
they have Mexico military escorts from the border down there and back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, are you kidding me? I've talked to people down there to where, like, man, they can't wait for this to get down there, just because of the sheer attention that they're going to be getting. That's actually positive, for once. And they're not going to the ghetto. I don't know if we can use that word on here, but they're not going to the hood. I mean, they're going. Mexico City's very nice. It's a very nice place. And I think that I'm glad that this TV partner is doing it, because I think they're just going to paint us a better picture as to what's really going on over there, and just really appreciate, the fact that going out of the country. I mean, it's a pain in the ass.
A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are like, why are we racing in Mexico? Well, you just don't understand the bigger picture.
I think if we were racing in Canada, it would be just as big of a pain in the ass. I guess. I don't know. It's totally different. It's a different country. I mean, that's really the whole thing.
I don't know who the hell made the logistics of this schedule, but who the hell thought it was a good idea to go from Michigan to Mexico City to Pocono?
That's horrible.
Like, why? You should have run like TMS, then Mexico City.
Yeah, or Coda.
Or run one of the Texas tracks, then go to Mexico City, because the Mexicans aren't traveling from Mexico to the NASCAR race. They're just not doing it. They travel from Mexico to the Formula One race, but that's a whole different topic for another show. But yeah, I just don't understand you took the cars from Charlotte to Michigan to unload them and reload them to drive from Michigan to Mexico City.
Yeah.
And then when they leave, they got to leave on Sunday drive 14 hours back to the border, get through customs and all that shit that's going to take forever, and then they go back to Charlotte, and then they go back to Pocono.
Mhm.
Unless they're going to meet them at TMS with cars to do the swap out at TMS. I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah,
And
I would
having to
hope
go
there'd
to
be.
Charlotte, back up to Pennsylvania to Pocono. So
And you know, for
that'll
you
be the
folks,
one that'll be fun to see if they can make that boring ass race at Pocono an entertaining race.
yeah, and for those of you like Bobby and I are talking about, you know, because obviously we're here in Central Texas. I mean, we're talking about coming out of Mexico, going into Fort Worth, into Dallas. That in and of itself is not a hop, skip, and a jump away. I mean, I get a lot of people, you know, where, oh, you're in Austin, you go to Houston a lot. I'm like, well, I do, and it's, you know, 3 hours away. I mean, we're so spread out here. So they're definitely going to have an interception point, because that really does not make any sense.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
I would have ran TMS or Coda and then down to Mexico City.
Yeah, and this schedule is so fluid now. I mean, depending what happens here, and again, I don't expect that we're going to have some. I mean, knock on wood, you know, that we're going to have some kind of catastrophic event go on over there, because again, you know, there's a lot of. Think what you want to think about Mexico. The Mexican authorities are all over this. I mean,
they don't want the. It's the same thing as cartels. They don't want the bad publicity.
Yeah. Let me tell you, friends. I've been over. Tracy and I are going next month to Cancun, so you know we kind of travel there every now and then, and it's like if we had some of that law enforcement here, a lot of this bullshit that goes on right now may be avoided because they are very. Whew, man,
in the spots that it matters, it matters. The spots that it doesn't so much, doesn't matter quite as much. But it matters this weekend going from Laredo to Mexico City.
So we'll have to get you in the office pool, because it's like anytime that I have to travel through customs, I get detained. I think it's the last name thing. So we're like already, all right, is it gonna happen? Because we got to go through customs on this one. So it's like, will this happen? I think we've got a pretty good little pool going now as to if it happens, and then how long I'm in there.
That sounds like a fun. That sounds like a fun little gig.
Yeah, and poor little old me, I get to be the guinea pig in there. So and I won't know who says what, so I'll just do what I do. But yeah, looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. They're actually getting practice and all this, and I can tell you, and I really saw it more at TMS than Coda, where, man, there was quite the Hispanic and Mexican crowd in Fort Worth. So I really think they're going to do okay. Yeah, and the whole thing is the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez that's not some thrown together speedway thing.
It's the F1 track, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's a very famous, you know, the Rodriguez brothers in Houston. I mean, in Mexico. I mean, this is a very well-known circuit. So I think this could work out pretty good for them.
I think it'll be packed. I think people will not be saying that the stands are empty.
No, absolutely.
I just don't see. With the logistical challenge of going to Mexico, I just don't see how in the hell NASCAR wants to take the Cup Series to Brazil.
Oh my Lord! Can you imagine that?
They'd have to fly him in.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't take a truck from Charlotte all the way down to Brazil. There's no way.
Oh no! I mean, you'd have to do that like coming off the Olympic break. You know what I mean? Where it's like you've got 2 or 3 weeks where nothing's going on. I mean, to get all that shit there, and then you're going to need time coming back, right? I mean, that's impossible. So. But hopefully
I'd rather go to Montreal before they go to Brazil, though. So
yeah. What I assume is going to happen, if there's going to be any problem, and I haven't been on the Twitter here in a little bit, but I would assume if there was going to be any problem at the border, it was going to be where something stayed in a rig or something stayed on somebody's personal, to where it's like, you know, I carry a pocket knife when I'm on the road, you know, because I'm opening boxes and doing different things. I mean, I would think that it would be something like that, where somebody had something on them that they weren't supposed to have, like going through TSA. But I don't foresee this being a really bad situation. Things going on in other places of our country right now are a lot worse than what's going to happen over there, I think.
Yeah, no, it's too planned out. They got the escorts. You know, I mean, it's the same thing. You get the people complaining, why are we racing in Mexico? There's plenty of places to race. If you don't understand why the Cup cars went to Mexico, you don't understand the bigger picture.
We should have talked to Max Calles. God dang it! Should have had Max Calles on tonight, because he has told me multiple times, you know, where it's like, and Max, you know, gets a lot of his drivers from Latin America and Mexico and Brazil, to where it's like race car drivers in those parts of Mexico, like Mexico City and Brazil and all of those areas. He's like, those race car drivers there, they consider them pilots. They are like Air Force pilots. They look at them like a mainstream TV actor. He's like, these guys aren't going to know what they're going to.
I'm surprised Max isn't going to be there.
I don't know if they're racing anywhere this weekend. He may be lurking around there somewhere. Look.
Maybe we'll get him on Tuesday to tell him what we thought. Ask him what he really thought about it.
Damn, we might have to do a yeah, absolutely.
He can do post-race or pre-race, but at this point, he can do it. He can come on and give us a different idea if he check with him and see if he's going in person.
Yeah,
and then we could totally, like, that'd be a hell of a segment with Max telling us all about the Viva Mexico 250.
You know, Max probably got all them cars all torn apart this weekend working on them. You know how he is. So anyway.
He's watching. He'll watch this one.
Well, yeah, he'll check it out. Mi amigo Max El Mero Mero. Lastly, we touched on it a couple of different times. So we knew that Monaco was going to be going away, and I assumed it was going to be Canada, but it looks like those two races are going to be head to head. And I've seen all the scuttlebutt and the back and forth.
Damn thing ever.
I don't think it affects Indianapolis whatsoever. I mean, when it comes to people that are going, I mean, people around here, I mean, we're over here talking about Mexico. Mexico's going to be great. And I'm over here with these people. Canada, I mean.
The problem is that's usually a pretty good race. You throw in a little bit of rain there in Canada. That F1 race is pretty damn good. But why? Why do you move it to North America market on the same day as the biggest race in the world? God, that's stupid.
It goes back to the whole thing to where, I mean, how many people actually do the shit that we do, where it's like you get up in the morning and watch that and have breakfast and then have brunch and lunch and then do the barbecue and all that? How many people do that? I think a lot of people really do that. You're jacking up
ratings in Monaco this year. A hell of a lot of people did it.
You are jacking up a long-standing tradition. That really is, because that's where. And I think the whole thing about it is with this whole capturing new audiences and all this. And look, let's be pretty clear. Formula One has the new audience. IndyCar needs any kind of audience. And I think NASCAR is capturing the new audience. It's just so streamlined. It's the one time where you can actually go boom, boom, boom. And you move that here, and they are going to be freaking head to head, it seems like.
Unless they run Canada at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we know that ain't going to happen.
Well,
they'll run Vegas at 10 o'clock at night, but they won't run Canada at 8 o'clock in the morning.
And I read this thing to where, I mean, it was some off the wall. I mean, it's a verified Twitter account, but again, anybody can have that, to where it's like, well, maybe Indianapolis ought to go to Saturday. I'm like, no. Formula One, you go to Saturday. You
Formula One, bring back Monaco. That's what you got to do.
Well, that's what happens, but that really is going to suck. Other than Coda, the Monaco race is really the one I want to see. I'm not a big fan of Miami. I mean, the Vegas is nice, but it's not appointment watching for me, where Monaco is. But yeah,
Canada's up there too, because it's on our time zone, so you can watch it in the afternoon.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's usually a pretty good race with the Wall of Champions right there. You're throwing a little bit of rain. It's usually a pretty good, entertaining race.
Yeah, it really is.
It's this weekend, by the way, isn't it? Isn't it this weekend? Isn't this year's Canadian Grand Prix this weekend?
I think so. So I guess next year. So I saw the schedule.
Yes,
I didn't really.
It is the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix, 3 p.m. Wow. 1 p.m. on Sunday, and then the Viva Mexico 250 is at 2 p.m. Central Time on Sunday.
There you go. On the Amazon Prime. Yes, sir. I'm sure that'll be a good one. We kind of joked around there with Dodge. So Ram, best kept secret in racing. It looks like the Dodge Ram. Well, No, the Ram.
Ram. And it's the dumbest marketing move ever because everybody still calls it a Dodge Ram.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody still calls it a Dodge. Nobody says Ram. Everybody calls it a damn Dodge.
Yeah.
You say I drive a Dodge truck. Everybody knows that you drive a Ram truck.
Yeah, that's where it's like, you know, I said to somebody, I'm like, Dodge is back. And they're like, no, it's not. It's a Ram. I'm like, what is it? A Hyundai Ram or what is it? It's a Dodge Ram. And again, I know that all that's different or whatever, but and I think that's great. I think that's just another.
Then you get the people that are bitching. It ain't a real Hemi. It's a Chevy engine with the Ilmort. So that's why they did it. All you do is have the Ram body. That's great.
And maybe that will intensify maybe more with, so who's dominant? I guess Chevrolet. Who's more dominant? Chevrolet is more dominant in
Toyota now.
No,
with
Toyota. Yeah. But the other two, I mean, I'm hoping that maybe that'll give us 4 really strong OEMs in there, because think about that. When you think about when you're out driving around the highway, you look around, you're probably going to see a Chevy, a Ford, a Toyota, or a Dodge. I mean, that's your trucks. So again, the ultimate plan for them is to get back to Cup. And I think what this may do is that we get Honda or whichever other one that's going to get themselves involved. And I think that would be great, where you have whatever Dodge is called, Chevy, Ford, then you get a Toyota or a Honda or whatever it is, a couple of imports.
If they run a twin turbo V6, they'll run a twin turbo V. That's what I keep hearing, is they're going to run a twin turbo V6 against the naturally aspirated V8 and have the balance of performance like they do in IMSA.
Well, there you go.
And mark this, you heard this first. My guess, the director of Ram Motorsports, guy that's unemployed, that's pretty damn smart and done a lot of things in racing, Rodney Childers. Will be the director of operation racing for Ram. Watch this. Watch out. Watch this.
Guy needs a job.
Because it's something he tweeted about 3 weeks ago. Or about a week ago now, I guess. When he retweeted that, he said, man, this is going to be a neat deal if it happens. And it's like tweeting about the potential of Dodge Ram coming into NASCAR in the truck. So that's my guess. And if he comes, that means Rackley War with their truck could be the Dodge factory team, with the connection between Rodney Childers and Kevin Harvick, with Kevin Harvick now working with the Suttons and Rackley Roofing.
And you think about with the conglomerate there of Ram, they need to sell some vehicles. So what are they doing? They're jumping into the best place to where you're going to take, and it is. I mean, the trucks right now. I mean, when you think of Chevrolet, I mean, Chevrolet didn't. I mean, we've got a Chevrolet that's racing in the Cup Series, and we got a Chevrolet that's racing in the Xfinity Series. But hell, they ain't got no damn sedan. I mean, Toyota's really the one that has, with the Camry. But I mean, the Camry that they're toting out there as a race car, they ain't no the Supra kind of maybe more. But I mean, what do they sell a lot of? They sell a shitload of Tundras. Chevrolet sells a bunch of Silverados, and Ford sells a bunch of F-150s. And that's where Dodge jumping in here. I mean, it only makes sense. You're going to have to spend money to make money, but I think they see
what they've done is great, because they announced the Ram trucks coming back in the V8s, coming back in the Rams, the Hemis, and then they did the NASCAR deal. And then they announced that. When the head of the division comes up and says, "Hey, we screwed this up. Our customers and fan base are pissed off. We got rid of the V8. We're bringing it back." It's hard to get a major company to say out loud they screwed up. Yeah. And it's in a commercial. Like, they even say it in the commercial. We screwed up. We're bringing it back. Yep. So
I heard one of the industry insiders. We should have never left NASCAR. And that's, I mean,
Stellantis is the reason they left, and then Stellantis is the reason they're coming back.
The reason they're coming back, and that's for the the folks that are saying that NASCAR's fallen away. If you're bringing in an OEM and you've got other OEMs that are in line, and it seems like they really are. You may have some TV ratings that are down a little bit. You may have some crowds that, I don't think the crowds are down either. I think that argument's kind of going out the window. I know that the capacity is not what it used to be, but I mean, look around. We threw those numbers out a couple of weeks ago. I see a lot of momentum right here. And what is this? And Ram coming back right around the time that Prime is jumping in here, so it's going to get some run on Prime, and masterful.
That's great. When they announced it in their backyard in Michigan, I mean, that was like I said, worst kept secret in racing.
Yep.
But it's I don't know. They got a long way to go. Can you imagine though, like what a Charger next gen Charger looks like? Like that would be badass. Or though they got to do the same thing with the Charger. They got to bring it back, put the V8 back in it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's
Like the electric one just don't sell. Like they started giving them damn things away. So the electric Chargers, it was an epic failure.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be a beautiful race car. And I mean that's the Epic brand right there. I mean, if you're gonna splash yourself back in, I mean, bring one of those back. You know, it's like Chevrolet. If somehow they were like going to bring back a Monte Carlo somehow, you know, I mean that's
I don't know what they're gonna do. Nobody knows, but apparently it ain't Cadillac. So
it'd just be a Chevrolet. It'd be that thing that's out there that looks like a Camaro. Hey, whatever.
Looks like a 2022 Camaro. That's what it looks like.
Absolutely. Looks like those other cars with a Chevrolet nose and ass is what it looks like to me. We do have to give some love before we get out of here. We were talking about the Rumble by the River that was talked about a little bit earlier. In that conversation, we got Jared Maupin. Our guy goes out there and wins in the Outlaw at the Rumble by the River. How about that? Old Jared taking care of business. Just a matter of time.
Got him a set of boxing gloves finally.
Yeah, good for him. Him and Rick and that crew. I mean, they've been working really hard, and it's really cool to see. I know there's a lot of big dirt shows around here, but so I was kind of looking around, and I saw during the week where it's like they had a picture of the car at the track, and I'm like, you know what? Good for Jared. I mean, Jared needed to be there. There may not be 50,000 cars there, but he's going to get a lot more eyeballs on him winning the Rumble up by the River than he's going to do doing some of the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing winning a weekly factory stock show that pays $500 versus winning the Rumble by the River. So,
yeah, absolutely. And we have to give a shout out as well, a revved up shout out over at Oxford Plains, our man Mike Rowe, 74 years young, Mike Rowe, as he picks up his 155th win at Oxford Plains. It was one of those things to where something happened in the tech shed, and he actually came across the line second, but I don't give a damn. If you have the trophy, if you look at those results and it says first, Mike Rowe, you were the winner. And 174 years old, that guy out there wheeling a late model around that place. Holy shit.
That's getting it.
That's getting it. Big time. Big time. Great program. High limits. They're about to roll the dice. So we're going to cut you folks loose so you can go check that out. That's over on Flow. Be sure to continue watching on Racing America throughout the week. Lots of stuff coming up over the weekend. Hit the socials, racingamerica.tv. Check out all the other streamers as well, because there's lots of different things happening. If you're checking us out here back home in Texas, what I would advise you is to be sure to check into your racetracks social media page, because I think that's where you're going to need to be honed in, because going to get awful wet. Bobby, you may have a Saturday off, man. I hate
again. It'll be 3 weeks and 3 races in a row if we get another one off.
Yeah, I hate to tell you that, man, but again, the weatherman is wrong a lot of the time. So I guess we'll see what happens there. So anyway, besides that, my man, what you got cooking the rest of the week?
Well, my baseball team's out the World Series, so that opened up the weekend schedule a little bit. Other than going to Edna, just going to get ready, try to dot a few I's, cross a few T's, get ready to go to Sin City in a couple of weeks.
Sin City. Heading out to the Sin City to go commit some sins and win lots of money. That's where you're going, to win lots of money.
That's why I'm going, to win lots of money. Rebrand everything when we get back.
There it is. He's going to come back.
The Revved Sports Show brought to you by the Golden Nugget.
Yeah, he's going to come back. Nelson Rockefeller, Bobby Chaffee.
That's the goal anyway.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you all for being a part of the program. We'll do it again next Tuesday. Already working on guests for that. We'll break down everything that goes on in Mexico. We'll go back into the short track world and get you recaps on all of that and get you ready for the week that's going to be happening after that, because we are in the busy time right now, and the really cool races are really starting to pop. So thank you all for being a part of this. Be sure and check out all of the Revved Up Sports Show socials. Be sure and follow all of our podcast providers and all of our streaming providers. Be sure and like their pages, like their YouTube pages. And if you can, please share and like any video, any content that you find that we are producing. Be sure and check that out. Hit the home base at revvedupsportshow.com, and you can find the cool gear that we have courtesy of our friends at On Demand Shirts in San Antonio, Texas. A big thanks to Tom McKay, Audio Visual Consultations, as well, for being a proud partner. Bobby Chaffee is down south here in Central Texas. I am up north. We'll do it again live as always, and you saw a good version of live tonight, we'll do it again next Tuesday. # Real Race Talk. This has been the Revved Up Sports Show.
I'm Jeff Gordon, and you're watching Racing America.